Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carly, and on this channel we talk about inner authority and how to accelerate and support each other on that inner authority journey. How to further engage it for ourselves, what it means not just for us individually, but what it means for us collectively, and how, what challenges we have along the way and how we can better support each other, not just in the theory of inner authority or finding it within ourselves, but the everyday practice of how we embody it and the challenges that come up along the way of trying to embody more and more of that inner authority here in this world at this time. In the little things, right? Like our relationships and in our community and at work and of course our role or perspectives or what it means for the larger what is happening in the larger world right now. So in this video, I wanted to go through one of the primary principles, the perspective, kind of a foundational understanding or support of inner authority, which is the truth is already inside of you. And this seems so basic, but it has so many different layers and it has so many different questions for the mind and challenges along the way when we hear the truth is already inside of you. The truth is already inside of me. I'm just accessing it. The truth is already inside of you. You're just accessing it. You're just clearing the channel so that it can operate and speak to you in a clearer way. And so that inner authority shift is that understanding that, not to make this sound any particular way, but it's just kind of a fact of what we know about the Buddha, whoever he was and whatever that story actually was. As the story goes, he enlightened himself under a tree. He didn't go to some great master. He became the great master and shared his wisdom, which is part of what we all do in our own growth as we accumulate wisdom and knowledge and support that we want to offer and share, and we don't keep that for ourselves. However, the process of really seeing is an internal journey. It's not something that we can learn outside of us. And so often in this outer authority paradigm that we have been living in for so very long now, we are obsessed with learning information, with going to outer sources and people and teachers and books that must understand something better than we do, and that information itself sits outside of us, and it's something that we must seek and find outside of us. Now, this does not mean when we say the truth is inside of us, it does not make us always right. Of course, I'm sure you've experienced that. I have many of times. It's not about being right and wrong anymore. And it doesn't mean that we don't go to other healers, teachers, methods, books. It's still important, and that's part of the unity project. Part of the unity consciousness is understanding that there is information outside of us. It's not a denial of that, but we have it. It's about how it's more of the relationship or what we're doing with that information and how we're accessing it and the power that we bring to the table when we are engaging with information outside of us. So there's a big difference, when we go to a teacher and we say, "Oh my God, you're so amazing. I worship you. You must have all of the answers to everything and everything. Wow, and these abilities and these skills that I don't. You're so magical. You're so amazing." And we go into this worship sort of energy, thinking that this other person is somehow different than us. Now, they are more embodied, hopefully. Hopefully it's not just all talk and there's actual, they actually are embodying and able to hold a field that you can feel, is more aware than maybe wherever you are at a given moment in time. but they're just here to stimulate what you already have inside of you. And so that means when we recognize that the truth is inside of us, and when we do this with teachers, when we go to a teacher or to a book and we say, I'm going to honor this person. I recognize that there's an awareness, there's a key, it's like a mystery that you're solving. I feel drawn to this person. I feel drawn to this particular message. That's my inner authority that's guiding me there, right? My inner authority is saying there's something here. There's something here that I want to pay attention to. There's something here that I need to better understand. I may not even know what it is. It might not even be the thing that they say that they're teaching. But something is guiding me here. So then you go to that person or to that book. You honor that inner authority guidance that is telling you that there's something there. And then you allow yourself to explore and to engage with that outer, with that externalization, with that other person, with that other informational source, to feel into what is right for you and what might be challenging, what might be triggering. And this is so much of the key, or the what is the best word? This is the way that we open the inner authority path for ourselves and in these interactions is through engagement and curiosity, right? We're staying open. We're interested. We're not drawing conclusions. And I think this is so important when we understand the truth is inside of us and going on the inner authority journey, whether we're engaging with the external world, with a teacher, with a book, with a video, with whatever it is that's outside of us, or we're engaging in our inner worlds, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But if we're going into our inner worlds and we have guides that show up in meditations, or we have symbols and things that happen in dreams, or just feelings and colors or hints, whether it's inner or it's outer, we take it seriously. We're engaging. We're not ignoring that there's something that's happening. And we get really curious. We get really curious to explore, to take it seriously, to really dig underneath. And that engagement, I feel, is so much actually of what is missing and what stops us from going on this inner authority journey and from really understanding or discovering more of what truth is inside of us. That we don't engage curiously. When we go to another person, a teacher, or a method, or a book, whatever source we're going to, we're so interested in understanding what they're right or what exactly it is that they're saying, and whether or not well, most of the time we kind of take it for granted, especially if they have a reputation or a lot of credibility. We kind of assume that everything that they say or everything that they do or this technique works, that it's going to work for us. And so we kind of have this assumption. We don't get curious at all. We don't doubt, we don't feel into, we don't think that we have to do something with that information internally. We cut off the very thing that is going to allow us to actually integrate, use, and manipulate that information in the way that it works for us individually. Because we're all individuals and we all are learning and consciously evolving in our own unique way. That's part of our inner authority journey as well. So even if somebody else has some great information, we need to get curious, engage, integrate, feel into that information for ourselves and find our own kind of recipe, our own way that it works for us and our evolutionary path and our unique way of understanding and our unique way of feeling. So the inner authority, when we're looking to the outside, or when we're engaging with the outer world and with outer information, I believe it's very important to still understand that the truth is already inside of you, acknowledging that it is your own inner guidance that is telling you to meet, to co-create, right? To co-create or to discover with another informational source outside of you. That it's you that's showing up there, and that you're going to take that information and play with it. You know, we're not going to say, oh my gosh, yes, everything that is said here is correct. And we're not going to go, oh, nothing that is outside of me can teach me anything. You know, we're not going to go into either one of those extremes that stops us from that inner development process. Well, we've gone into that external world, but I also want to talk about a little bit more of the playing, that same engagement and curiosity that we can bring and that we need to bring to our inner world. To our inner world. And that's why so much of what, you know, I care about, what I'm passionate about sharing, is understanding how to work with that inner world and that inner perception in a way that's not, you know, in your unique way. Kind of trusting your own process of discerning and your own process of working with certain guides and symbols, and really allowing that information to sit within you and to do what it's going to do. It's going to start to rework your system and open your channel and show you what you need to release and let go of, and where you need to step stronger, you know, what's next on your path. So when we are engaging with curiosity in that inner world can show up in the beginning in so many different ways. Hopefully, I have another video on how to create space for inner authority, which is about creating space for more access to that inner world and that inner perception and that listening. So I definitely encourage everyone to be doing that, to be actively creating the space for that. But even if you're not, or if it's outside of that space, it doesn't mean that your inner world only operates when you're creating that space. Your inner world is operating all the time. So we just need to be paying more attention to it. We need to be engaging with it. We need to care. We need to care when it speaks. We need to give it attention. We need to be curious. So that inner world shows up in our dreams. You know, if you have a dream, if that dream is giving you a particular story, look it up. Look up what certain symbols mean. It's amazing, even on the really basic dream, you know, softwares, or you know, the basic dream, like a Google search. Even that, you're gonna receive some information. I promise, it just happens. And you're gonna find it interesting. And that's signaling to the unconscious, to the subconscious, that you're listening, that you care. And that's gonna open up more and more of that inner world language. Those messages will start to come through more and more. You know, our inner world also operates just through feelings. When we're engaging with other people and we have certain feelings, or all of a sudden an insight comes in, you know, or it can be through that synchronicity, you know, when we have something on the outside, like a number that keeps showing up, or a specific word that you've heard all of a sudden 5 times in one day. Spend some time with that word. Give it your attention. Get curious. Get engaged. Get curious. This is just a short video talking about this inner authority path that we're on, and this understanding that the truth is within us. And whether it comes to the takeaway, I guess, that I really wanted just in this moment for today, is understanding that whether something is coming from the outside or from the inside, we need to show up with that engagement and that curiosity. Look into it, listen to it, follow it, take the next action so that you can open up and more of that information on the inner world will start to guide you. And the outer, what you get through the outer world is going to have a much bigger impact for you. So the information that you receive from another teacher or from a book or from a person, just, generally your neighbor, a random conversation with a stranger, on the street. All of these sources are information and signs and ways that if you pay attention, if you're present and you're engaging and you're curious, and you're not drawing conclusions, you're not trying to be right, you're not trying to figure something out with a big solution. You're just listening, engaging, and getting curious. And so much opens, so much unlocks, so much truth starts to reveal itself when we are consistent and committed to that exploration of our inner world and our inner truth. I hope that this inspires you to keep listening today and other days, to get excited about your own your own reflections. And please do share here what resonates, what doesn't. Share with other people, share your thoughts, share your concerns. It doesn't need to be in an assertive, this is that sort of way. It can be just exploratory. The more that we explore with each other, the more that we find truth. The more that we try to say that we have truth, or we try to put it into a box, the more we squeeze, or we lose the essence. We lose the essence of it, and somehow it starts to shrink or it starts to disappear. So, like anything, we're just opening, we're creating the space, we're letting things be free. We're engaging, we're opening to truth. We're opening to the truth inside of us. We're not claiming it. We're not suffocating it. So enjoy opening to your truth. And I hope that you find some really fun things in your outer world and in your inner world, and get really curious and share a little bit about what that experience is for you. Much love and strength, and see you soon.